Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to discuss how we can become an effective communicator and how we can get success through effective communication. Communication is a key thing in our business settings, and communication is the prime tool which we can use to get success, which we can use to impress others, which we can use to get things done. So if we are not effective communicator, if we don't use communication effectively, if we don't have tools, if we don't have skills that we can convince others, our communication will be at stake. We will be in a danger zone. And when we will be in a danger zone, our job will be in danger, and we will be finding ways to sustain within the organization. So if you are a good communicator, if you can use communication skill effectively with some tricks, you can earn money, you can win everything within the organization and even in your life. There are certain skills, there are certain steps that that give us success when we use them, when we are communicating. The first thing that we should use whenever we are talking, we should be precise. We should not go for details, we should not go for things that are unnecessary, and we should not involve people in things that they don't want to know, that they don't want to get. We should be precise, we should be focused. If we are focused on the topic, on the objective we are having for communication, we will be successful, and people will be understanding what we are going to say. But if we are not focusing the thing that we want to get communicated and the thing on which we want a response, it will be problematic then, and we will be then in hot water, because people will be responding according to their own will and according to their own preferences. Then sometimes it happens that you say one thing and people don't understand it. You should then keep on communicating. You should rephrase your sentence. You should say your sentence in another way. You should use different words to communicate the same thing until you are responded positively. Because if you are not getting response, for example, if your audience are sitting in front of you and you look at their faces that they are expressionless, they are not expressing anything, then you should focus on their faces, on their responses, and then you should try to repeat and communicate, and you should keep on communicating so that they are understanding you. Then sometimes it happens that you say one thing and you get a response and you start defending yourself. It is a very negative thing. If you want to get success through communication, you should stop defending yourself. You should stop creating a place for positive communication. You should make yourself able to understand that there are always people who will oppose you. There are always colleagues and companions who will tell you and suggest you positive things. So try to accept it. Try to accept their views. Try to accept their ideas. Try to accept their concepts and incorporate their concepts in your communication. Rather, try to talk in their language. Try to talk with their ideas, and then communicate your content, and then communicate what you want to communicate. Sometimes when we are communicating with our audience, we try to impress them. We use very different and difficult words. We use very, very tough things. We use very tough sentences, complicated and complex sentences. We use lexis that is not understandable by the audience. So if you want to get success, you should be very careful, because your audience is in need of understanding, they should understand. And when they will understand your communication, then they will respond. And if you are not clear, if you are ambiguous, if you are using tough language, if you are using sentences that are not comprehensible, that they cannot comprehend, that they cannot understand, if they cannot confer meaning, if they cannot infer meaning from your communication, they will not be able to respond to you. So you should try to use clear wordings, and clear ideas should be communicated. Then if there is a problem, people are not understanding and it is happening again and again. People are not responding and it is happening again and again. If there is a problem in the communication, you should own it. If you are not owning your problem, if you are not respecting the problem, you cannot solve it. So whenever you are communicating with your audience, you should try to talk to their expectations. You should come up with the ideas. You should come up with the sentences that your audience is expecting. If your audience is, for example, expecting that you should talk in English language, you should use English language. And if they are expecting that you should use Urdu language, you should try that. If they are expecting that you should use images for explanations, you should use that. So you should be aware of the expectations of your audience. If they are expecting that you should sum up within 3 lines and you write an essay of 100 lines, it means you are not trying to come up with, you're trying to meet the expectations of your audience. And if you will not do that, they will not be interested. And if you are not keeping, when you are in face-to-face communication, if you are not keeping an eye contact, you will not succeed. And you will not be effective in your communication. You will not succeed in your communication. So keeping an eye contact with your audience is very necessary. Because your audience, they want to attend you. And they are, actually you should involve them. And to involve them, it is necessary to have an eye contact with your audience. It is necessary to look at everybody's face. It will give you their expressions, the expressions on their faces, and the eye contact with them will give you a feedback. An instant feedback is going on, and you can change, manipulate, and add or delete something from your communication data. Then when you are communicating, your communication should give them some strategies. If you're not giving strategies, if you're not giving ideas, if you are not focusing the problems of your audience, if you are not focusing what they want from you, if you are not focusing what are their needs, if you are neglecting their problems, you cannot succeed in inspiring your audience. You cannot succeed in transforming their minds. You cannot succeed in making what you want to make. So, if you want to get success in the communication you are doing, you should make a strategy, develop a strategy, and then you should go for that. Then, if you are interacting with your audience, try to appreciate, try to admire their responses. Because if someone is giving a feedback, and for example, the feedback is very negative, and you just react on that negative feedback, it will destroy your communications. It will destroy your link with your audience. It will destroy the total workshop. It will destroy the total effort you had already made to tell the things to your audience. So if you want to have audience involved with you, if you want that your audience should go with you, if you want that your audience should keep in touch with you, if you think that they are actually the uh, the people, the stakeholders whom you are communicating and who should understand what you are going to say, then you should try to admire their feedback and try to accept their negative and positive comments and try to appreciate whenever it is needed, when they are involved, when they are talking to you, when they are posing questions, when they are giving you feedback. Try to appreciate them. Another thing that brings success for you in the business setting is your use of non-verbal signals, non-verbal your postures. For example, if a client visits you and your sitting posture is very uneasy, or you are relaxing, you are not sitting in a way that you are attending your audience. If you are not using your hands and your body posture, your eyes positively, it will it will destroy your communication. It will destroy your impact on your audience. So if you want to be successful in business settings, if you are a front desk officer, if you are a sales representative, if you are leading a team, you should use non-verbal signals properly. And then you should be aware of international diversity. You should be aware of non-verbal limitations within international multicultural audience, and you should use them with a very technical and with a very clever way, so that your audience are convinced and you get your success through your better communication. Another thing that can make you successful businessman, that can make you successful through communication, is listening habit. If you are not good listener, you cannot succeed, because when you will listen, people will give their ideas, and then you will interpret those ideas, and then you can respond accordingly. So listening is very important in this way. And when you are communicating, try to make a habit of asking questions, because when you will ask questions and you will find replies to those questions, you will be understanding what people are thinking about you, and what people are thinking about your communication, and what people are thinking about your ideas, and what people are having feedback back in their mind, and what your audience is actually about to. As the audience is very important, as their feedback is very important, as it is very important to know for a communicator that his or her audience is understanding him or her. And if audience is not understanding and they are sitting silent and they are not posing questions, you should ask them questions, and they will then respond, and you will be understanding that they are understanding you, or you should revise your strategy to get success. Then it happens many times in your business life that there are negative, or there are situations, different situations, negative situations. There are people who are opposing, there are people who are making noise, and they are not listening to you, and there are people who are writing something that is not acceptable. So you should try to handle with your positive communication. You should try to handle such situations. You should have ability to convince people through positive way, through your skill, through your words, through your positive tone, through your smile, through your close interaction, through your postures, gestures, and through your hugs, you can handle the situations through communication. If you are, the most important thing is that if you're not enthusiastic about your topic, if you don't want to win, if you don't want to get success, it will be difficult to succeed. And if you want to get success, if you want to get success through communication, if you want to get success through your abilities to communicate effectively, if you want to get success in any case through your speaking skill, if you want to use your skills of inspiring people through your words, you can win. You can succeed. And if you don't use your enthusiasm, if you are not ready to actively convince your audience that it is you who can change their lives, it is you who can bring comfort for them, if you cannot change their minds, if you cannot put your words in their mouth, if you cannot change their ideas, if you cannot give your ideology to your audience, you cannot succeed. So to be successful, give suggestions. If you will suggest to your audience something, if you have skill, if you will use your skill in a practical way, that you can suggest something, you will be successful. Because if you are a sales officer and you can change the idea of buying a certain thing, you are a successful communicator and you will become a successful businessman. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.